collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your 7-card draw. What do I need read for this full moon in March to new moon in April 2022? I am your reader, Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Jarring the Circle Productions since 1998, author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, available on Kindle, link in the description box, creator on Patreon, patreon.com/jarringthecircle. I'm the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hey, my aquariums. Obviously not my usual locale, if you've been following me for a while. Not in my living room in Holbrook, Long Island, in the guest room of my parents' house in Saratoga, New York. Taking a few days off. These are my last 2 readings for the series, so I figured I'd get those done here and then take some time with my family, because I miss them terribly, and it's really good to be here. And they have puppies, they have dogs. So that being said, if you're new to my channel, a 7-card draw is just 1 card from 7 different decks, getting you clues, tips, and hints about a specific astrological timeline. And let's face it, a timeline where there's a lot going on, obviously, with the war in Ukraine and the empaths on overload from all of the fear, terror, loss, grief, sadness, you get it. Certainly shadow work is going to be necessary for all of those who are energetically sensitive, which is a nice way of putting it. Yeah. And do understand, because of unity consciousness, the more you heal your shadow, right? Integrating the shadow, whatever you want to call the process of alchemy, from lead to gold, pain to peace, toxic to healthy, shadow to light, you are helping the world, because I don't have the financial or the political power to do anything about what's going on over there. So I do more than thoughts and prayers. I go in and heal myself, knowing that that ripple effect affects all of life. A little serious, but I think that's the time we're in. But don't worry, I know how to yuck it up. I've been doing this a very long time. Let's look at this astrological timeline, shall we? The full moon in Virgo on Friday, 3/18. I will still be here. I'll be doing something on Patreon and maybe posting it to the rest of the world. Friday the 18th of March, 3:17 a.m. And then we are looking at the waning, the releasing, the shadow work, the letting go, the forgiving, the surrendering. You get it. Clearing the plate for the new moon in Aries. Friday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, 2:24 a.m. Now I will say a couple of things about that new moon. A new moon on Friday in Aries. Any Aries moon on a Friday is good for self-love. Friday being the day of Venus, Freya's day, right? Vendredi, day of Venus, the day of love. But you put an Aries moon in there, it's all for the self, right? The internal self, the personality, healing the ego, all that stuff. But be aware of the 3 days before new moon, the balsamic moon, which will be in Pisces. A balsamic moon, a dark moon in Pisces, means that we're going to be feeling everybody's everything. I have a Pisces moon. This is why I keep an eye on the lunar astrology, and why I talk about it every morning on Patreon in a live stream for all of my patrons, not just the top tiers, all of them get that stuff every day. So that being said, it is a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, check your other signs to get your clues, tips, and hints about this specific timeline we're about to look at, or perhaps another parallel timeline, because we're all doing more than one thing. One can be about love, one can be about health, one can be about money, one can be about who knows. So put it all together for yourself. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace that I can, right? Focus on your breath. Let's get this out of the way. Oh, right, I'm using this to shuffle on because I'm on a bed, obviously, if you couldn't tell. No, this isn't a dining room. This is a bedroom I'm in. We all have to adapt, don't we? Please take a nice deep breath. Oh, and all kidding aside, I'm not really kidding. Here we go. Using the Caroline Mace archetype deck, I call upon the collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of the General Assembly, the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, the spirit animals and totems, as well as the pantheon of all pantheons, all traditions, lineages, and cultures. For the Aquarian Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, what is the dominant 8th chakra archetype hovering over their head, affecting their electromagnetic field? All the chakras downloading from the 8th chakra above them, the soul power, the alchemy, the lesson, the shadow work indicated this full to new March, April 2022, the dilettante archetype. The dilettante is usually something that we think of in the shadow. It's another name for a dabbler. Dabbler! Mumbler! Dabbler! Particularly when somebody dabbles in the magical arts and then they gotta call an actual professional witch in to clean shit up. I've been doing it for decades, right? But it is a creative family archetype, and the light side of this I rather enjoy. You can have an archetype, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. I get the dilettante for a season every now and again. The shadow attribute, this indicates the shadow work needed. Pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess, which is a form of gaslighting, by the way, leading people to think you know something that deeply that you don't. So the light attribute I love. Delights in the arts without having to be a professional. I'm that way with cooking. I don't want to go to culinary school. I don't want to learn how to bake. That's too much science for me, personally. Please don't make me do math. But coffee, stews, soups, I'm a potion witch, right? So I'll claim that as part of my creative thing, and I can dabble in that. I'm not feeding other people usually, unless they're coming over to the house. My bolognese is to fucking die for, by the way. Alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. So it's an interesting archetype to play with. That could be in any area of life, not necessarily just the arts. And people put the arts in the performing and fine arts alone, but like I mentioned, culinary arts, right? Literary arts, there's all sorts of different ways of expressing our creativity that have nothing to do with product, but it always involves process, which is necessary and very therapeutic. So that's the 8th chakra dynamic. Let's get the next 4 chakras down: the crown, the third eye, the throat, and the heart. The internal world, the yin-ternal world, the feminine energy, the goddess energy, the divine feminine, whatever you want to call it. That, of course, is going to be the first to receive the lessons, the impulses from the dilettante archetype above, like a satellite dish. Goes into the crown chakra, 1,000-petaled lotus. Think chakric satellite dish, right? Dropping down, coming into time and space to be manifested. But this is where the shadow work begins, because throat chakra, you have to choose willpower whether or not to heal or not, whether or not to do the shadow work. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon, there we go, my goddesses of air, the sign of Aquarius, powers of the East, please, 1 card in clarity for the Aquarian Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, alchemizing the dilettante in the 8th chakra. What's going on for them that they need to be aware of? And what do I need shadow read to help them do the shadow work? Where to begin, what to look at, what to embrace, what to address on the inner, this full to new March, April 2022. And we've got the 8 of Blades, Chokhmah, which is a desert goddess of, I believe, the Israeli tradition. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but Chokhmah is one of the 10 spheres of the Kabbalah, usually associated with, I believe, the throat heart, the throat chakra. Carolyn Mace's Anatomy of the Spirit, a brilliant work, takes the 10 spheres of the Kabbalistic tree of life, but they are in 7 levels and connects them to each chakra. So I'm pretty sure Chokhmah, if it's not, because some of them have 2, the throat chakra has 2, it could be third eye as well. So we're definitely looking at a third eye card here regardless. And you know the 8 of Blades, if you've been watching tarot videos or you're a reader yourself, blindfolded and bound. Well, the key word here is decisions, meaning that you're standing in the middle of a desert. I believe Chokhmah is a goddess of desert winds, don't quote me on that. And if you're down in the middle of the Sahara, doesn't matter which way you look, it all looks the fucking same, right? So how do you make decisions like that? right? There can be a bit of overthinking here, though not as bad as, let's say, the Nine of Swords in the Rider-Waite Tarot. This may very well be about looking at all of your different options. Now, of course, the next one would be the Nine of Blades, which would at least put you in a certain direction. But I would say, with the Dilettante, how that's going to change the third eye is giving you the option to either go deeper into this or pretend to know what you don't really know. Right? To go into it and say, you know what? I'm being superficial. I can delight in whatever process this is without having to become a professional at it. But grant me the grace of humility to know that I do not know, but I'm willing to be shown the truth. Rather, it saves time, by the way. You don't have to backtrack and fix shit. If you kind of go into it saying, learning curve, I don't know. I know that I don't know. And that sort of vulnerability in this world is needed, right? Because we all think we fucking know until we realize we don't. And the real toxicity starts when we won't own up to it and stick with the thing that we know is wrong. Like what's going on planet Earth in so many different ways. So there is an alignment possible here, but the shadow work needs to be chosen. Sooner or later, you got to make the decision. Only you can make that decision. Let's see what's going on the outer, or at least the lower three chakra dynamic, the masculine energy, how you appear in the world from the outside looking in. Maybe it's you from the inside looking out at someone or something. Lower three chakra dynamic, root chakra. The sacred truth is all is one. Carolyn Mace, Anatomy of the Spirit. Tribal dynamics, the human race, your family, your circle of friends, your favorite band, right? I think I'm still a member of the Bad Reputation Nation from Joan Jett from the 80s, right? So all of your groups and circles, any 3 or more people, right? Those are your tribes. Second chakra, one-on-one relationship, like an umbilical cord, your relationship to another person or thing, like money is one energy field. That's why you often hear, sex, creativity, and money in the second chakra. And solar plexus, your relationship to yourself, your honor code, your self-esteem, your personal guidance that only you are getting, what you will, what you won't, what you do, what you don't, what you'll stand for, what you won't sit for. Pardon me, I got a little scrackle in my throat, as we like to say in my family on the Italian side. Got a little scrackle. Please take a nice deep breath. Oh, this feels good. All right, cool. I call upon my gods of air, the sign of Aquarius, powers of the East. Please, my beloved, one card in clarity for the Aquarian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. Dilettante in the 8th. 8 of Swords on the inner, 8 of Blades, Chokhmah, decisions, maybe not all of the pieces of the puzzle on the table. So, they might want to wait a little bit to make sure that they're making their decisions clearly here, because decisions in shadow work are often the difference between lead and gold, toxic and healthy, right? Fear and love, pain and peace. So what's going on, lower 3 chakras? Please clarify for them. The lower 3 chakra dynamic, this full to new, March, April 2022. The High Priestess. I like it. I like it a lot because you're probably not taking any great, big, huge actions right now, but rather going within, right? So to make this decision, it does look like there's a deeper secret process, a deeper spiritual wisdom. This is Persephone underground here. She's the maiden of spring, the quarry in her maiden phase. She's the summer lady at her most treacherous and deadly, the scorching heat of summer, the serpent, right? They love the sun. And then Persephone is queen of the underworld for 6 months. So she's got the wisdom of the maiden and the lady under her belt. Maiden mother. She's not a crone, though. She's a queen of the underworld. So there is subconscious stuff. There is deeper secrets and intuition, probably spiritual alignment, too. But like I just said, the maiden grace, the High Priestess really is the maiden of the maiden mother and crone. In the sense that she is virginal, depending on your definition for that, because she is a vessel through which the divine works, right? She belongs to the gods, to the higher power. Most beautiful woman on earth that no man can have. So there is something perhaps a little bit pulled back here, perhaps a little bit more contemplative, but I would think spiritually oriented, particularly if you know that you do not know, and you're not pretending, then you can really engage your creative processes here and not be superficial in your pursuits. Humility is a wonderful thing. It is the shield against humiliation, because you get humiliated when you pretend to know something that you don't. But if you're out and open about it, say, I have no idea. I have no idea. I say it all the time. Please don't make me do math, right? You want to talk chakras? I'm not the only one on planet Earth who can do it, but I speak the language fluently, right? And I just, one of the reasons I come up to Saratoga is to have my car serviced, because I bought it up here. And they're like, well, we're going to do this and this and this, and then there's the universal joint, and all I can think of is this gigantic spliff, right? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'll send me the deeds. I'll send it to my lawyer, which I did, which is my stepfather. So, you know, it's like, I know that I don't know. And I think it relaxes people around me too, because they, you be a professional witch and see if people don't look at you odd, even at family reunions. Not when it's just my parents, though. Just saying. Alrighty, let's get you a healing mantra here, because this doesn't feel horrible. This feels like, yeah, you're holding back, which might be a wise decision to make. Maybe not communicating so much with that high priestess, but there's a lot going on the inner there in some situation in your life. And I'm telling you, don't pretend that you know if you don't. Yeah, let's get you a healing mantra. Breathe. Right, so the high priestess can bring through the answer. Please, the right decision. Please, I call upon the ascended masters, a general assembly. This could be about anything. For the Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, Dilettante in the 8th. 8 of Blades, Chokhmah, the card of decisions on the inner, very third eye, but the third chakra is going to have to choose. That's willpower, decisions, and choices. With the high priestess on the outer, what's a silent hidden mantra, right, that they can do behind their own eyes, perhaps helping them make this decision, this full to new March 8th to 2. Awakening inspired action. There's only what life is asking of me. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, right? It's only what I don't have to overcomplicate this. I don't have to oversimplify it, right? I have to make this decision, and I don't have to, ask everybody what they would do. I can go into prayer, meditation, spiritual practice, silence. Most solutions come through being still and silent. I didn't write it that way. It's just how it works a lot of the times. There's only what life is asking me is a way of awakening the action within you that is inspired, meaning coming from something that's certainly the high priestess, which is a priest or priestess is a vessel through which the divine works, if they're working it right. Right? Yeah, hubris, pretending you know when you don't, thinking you're better than others. Oh, the gods love that, said nobody ever. I wonder who the god of hubris is. I could say a name, but it's very political, and I'm not going to. Why? Because I'm on YouTube right now. And Awakening Inspired Action from Matt Kahn's Healing Mantra Deck Bookie Book. There's only what life is asking of me, don't you know? When you awaken inspired action, you are an open, willing participant in your soul's journey. Okay, so open, willing participant in your soul's journey. Who's in the desert, so to speak, not sure which way to go. You are ready, willing, and able to face any feeling or make any necessary change just for the chance to serve the cosmic plan of the universe, which is very high priestess. It's just I don't see you broadcasting it. Right? You're probably not doing an Instagram reel or whatever the fuck they're called nowadays. When inspired action has been awakened, you radiate higher frequencies of light for the well-being of all. This is very 11th house Aquarian energy, humanitarianism, right? Hands across America, right? Link Pinks, we are the world, we are the children. This mantra is ideal for overcoming self-sabotage, resolving boredom, and increasing fulfillment. Now, I think with the creative family archetype, all three of those, right? Self-sabotage, how, oh no, let me not make the decision. I'm not going to make the decision. Nope, I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to stick it under the fridge and hope it all goes out well. No, that's self-sabotaging. This is very throat chakra reading here. Resolving boredom, I don't necessarily get that here, but I could sense where you're kind of bored and not sure what decision to make. And increasing your fulfillment by awakening inspired action. There's only what life is asking of me. And if you don't know what that is, keep using the mantra. It will reveal itself to you. It always does. But are we willing? Ready or able, I never know about myself, but willing. That I can, throat chakra. That I can do. Because I know if I'm willing or not. Usually. The higher selves of all involved. This feels very singular, but if there are others involved in this in some way, shape, or form, their higher selves have a say in what card hits the bed, since we're not using a table today. Let's see what hits the bed. That doesn't sound right. Please take a nice deep breath. Breathe, air signs. Still point. As I call upon the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, what is the whisper of love, the piece of information, inspiration, and insight needed for the Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, that they can alchemize that dilettante archetype, 8 of Blades, indecision on the inner, High Priestess on the outer, awakening inspired action. What do you got from the higher selves of all involved for the Aquarians this full to new? April, March, April 2022. I love you. These are very important words. This is the card that is the same imagery on both sides, except the border is different to differentiate which side has the words on it. I love you. These are very important words. Of course they are. And probably really important to say to yourself, particularly with that High Priestess. Not a verbose card, the High Priestess. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. Keep it sacred. I love you. I love you. I don't know what to do. There's part of you saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to decide. I don't know. I feel like I'm dabbling. It's okay. I love you. It's okay. It's where we are on the journey, right? 4-year-olds are not supposed to understand advanced algebra and calculus, and if they do, it's a pretty fucking spooky kid. It's okay. We're on a journey here. There's only what life is asking of us. I love you. Now, certainly, the more you do that for yourself, which is a means of experiencing self-love, but if you go about it saying, you know what, I'm just going to do the best that I can, and I'm going to be as loving as I can, which doesn't mean I'm a pushover. No. If love conquers and true love truly conquers and true love conquers all, this is a process. In terms of the shadow work available to you, I'm going to recommend from the Matt Kahn Healing Mantra Deck, the author himself, Matt Kahn, his first book, Whatever Arises, love that. Tons of his videos on the internet. YouTube is a good source for him. That's how I found him. No, actually, I found him through a Hay House email a bunch of years ago, I think 2017, 2018. So I'm going to say those, like, there's only what life is expecting of me. I love you. It's kind of a really good mantra. And this absolutely feels like, for a lot of you, maybe not everybody, but there is a global wave of impact here. That this does feel like doing things to help shift things on planet Earth, bringing love to others in a way that is maybe not so overt. But with the High Priestess, let's call it what it is. Covert. And covert is not a bad word. Right? Like, you want somebody's surprise birthday to be covert, occult, hidden. Yeah. So, our next card down is the Divine Animals Oracle, because if you're going to do shadow work, walk that journey into the underworld and back, whatever your terminology is, 3 days in the Great Pyramid, right? crucifixion, resurrection. Every culture has its version of what we're talking about here. Let's see what animal, what your spirit guides and animals, spirit guides and totems have to say. Spirit animals and totems. Again, it's an Aquarian read and the energy's a little spacey. Breathe. Just shocking, considered you're ruled by Uranus. Let's ground it, shall we? Let me do this still point. Energy pattern is very different, and I am literally on top of a mountain in this house right now. It's definitely an Aquarian point of view. Still point. As I call upon the spirit animals and totems for the Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading with the Dilettante in the 8th, 8 of Blades, Decision, Chokhmah on the inner, High Priestess on the outer, Awakening, Inspired Action, because there's only what life is asking of them. And with those 3 magic words, I love you, healing mantra extraordinaire. Who walks with them, who swims with them, who flies with them, who crawls with them, doing this shadow work. This full to new March, April 2022. The gorilla. A gorilla. We've got a gorilla for sale. Hey, Magilla, gorilla for sale. Won't you buy him? Take him home and try him. Card number 1, gorilla for sale. See in the window. Peace, by the way, is your keyword, which is the thing. I mean, the world is at war right now. I don't know if it's World War III, although when Chernobyl came into the picture, I was like, all right, get out the Book of Revelations and a highlighter. But this could absolutely about you being really inspired, not knowing what to do right now, but as you alchemize this, as you do the shadow work, you could bring some peace to yourself, which is certainly a way of bringing peace to the world. Card number 1, a gorilla. Sorry, I was looking at the Latin name. That's ridiculous. I'm not going there right now. Peace. To seek or negotiate for peace is a position of strength, not weakness. Choose peace rather than war. Strong leaders lead by example. The greatest kind of strength involves restraint. Don't judge a book by its cover, and that's true. Like, gorillas could, I don't know, rip the moon out of its orbit. I don't think they're that strong, but certainly they're known for pure brute force, and yet they can be so gentle until they're not, right? So restraint. I'm going to read you gorilla magic here. Everyone has heard of King Kong. Oh, who's that? Was that aristocracy that I am not aware of? Duh. So perhaps the idea of gorilla magic inciting peace and sociability may be a bit shocking. Yeah, especially if he's throwing barrels at plumbers. We know of the huge physical strength of gorillas, yet this power is used with incredible restraint. When you need to exercise the same restraint, or you need to be the peacemaker, do you really want to taste it? In a situation, call in gorilla magic to assist. And I find that restraint card, that word of restraint, very much about this high priestess, right? And particularly awakening inspired action, instead of pretending like you know what's going on and creating, acting, to go within. And I would say go into spiritual prayer, practice, meditation, whatever your gig is, because it is inspired action, rising above the mind into the spirit. The mind is still a part of it, air sign, but one that brings peace, and maybe establishing peace in mind within you so that you can make a very, very clear, awakened decision to an inspired action. Last card down. Last card down, the Hidden Blessing from Lucy Cavendish's magical Celtic blessing cards to enrich and empower, called Blessed Be. The gold within the lead, right? We've talked about the shadow and the light. Lead has 3 more atoms than gold, therefore gold's hidden. There's some gold hidden, and then there are leads So you do the shadow work. Here's the indication of what's in there, but only you can decide. Chokhmah, heart, third eye crown there. Decisions. Only you can decide to do it or not. Please take a nice deep breath. Here we go. Last card down. The pantheon of all pantheons, all traditions, lineages, and cultures, please. One card in clarity for the Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, alchemizing the dilettante, so they can delight in the arts without having to be a professional. Those could be the mystic arts, the spiritual arts, come to think of it. Alerts them to the danger of becoming superficial in their pursuits, like just manifesting for the things you want and not taking the global situation into the world as being spiritually narcissistic, and it never goes well. With that 8 of blades on the inner, there are some big decisions here on the table, and they may have no idea where to go, what decision to make there. So what's the hidden blessing with the high priestess on the outer? They got that going for them big time. Keep it secret, keep it sacred, keep it safe, so that they can awaken inspired action, really understanding that in any given moment there's only what life is asking of us. And that I love you, I think, is really important, right? These are very important words in order to establish peace, and peace with restraint, all that strength, but with restraint and in a peaceful way here. What's the hidden blessing as the result of the alchemy? So they should they so choose to do so, this full to new March 2022. This makes sense. A blessing on a battle that cannot be avoided. Then I'm not thrilled for you. Trust me. Card number 29. A blessing on a battle that cannot be avoided. Hence the peace. Hence I love you. Awakening, inspired action. I'm going to say that pretty much clicks. Okay. Let's do the blessing. We do the blessings for realsies here on Drawing the Circle Productions YouTube channel and elsewhere. Breathe. Pantheons of the pantheons, use me. Bless them. Use every aspect of me to help here. So let it be. Card number 29, a blessing on a battle that cannot be avoided. A blessing to help you through a conflict that must be faced with courage and compassion for all involved. Battle in our lives are not always the way we have seen them depicted. They may not be a fight or a confrontation or the clash of swords swinging. Most of us do not want the battle. We want the peace. And to talk and parlay our way through the differences and the difficulties within our lives. Many times, we may walk away knowing that the battle will bring more damage than we can face, and at other times, we must walk through the fires of confrontation and go into a battle we did not want. Sounds like planet Earth. But which can no longer be avoided. So this is a blessing on those who are to face a battle they wished was not theirs to fight. I could cry right now, I'm not going to. But it has become clear that they have no choice but to confront, to bring out their arms and to fight. It may be with the law, it may be with wits, it may be through speaking your truth, and it may be by refusing to accept what another has determined is enough for you. It may be with a challenge or a condition or an injustice or a cruelty, which seem to be ruling the fucking planet right now. My editorial. Not Lucy Cavendish. Here's the actual blessing. Whatever the nature and form of the battle before you, accept now this blessing upon you for your courage, for your reluctance to bring aggression into the world, for your refusal to run, for your determination to see this story through, and for the belief you now have in yourself and whatever cause it is that you now stand up for. For your warrior's heart, which is blessed with courage and strength of the feeling of fear, yet the ability to stand your ground. For the swinging of the sword and the raising of the shield. For the quiet in the chaos that you will find, and for the sacrifice you will make in order to see this through. You are blessed, and your warrior spirit is rising. And it is blessed, for you are no aggressor or foolish conqueror. You are a soul who will no longer run from what stands between you and the rest of your brilliant, beautiful life, for the well-being of all, and with harm to none. As I will it, so let it be done. So motivating. So it is. It's okay to not know what to do. Don't be superficial. Ask the questions. Help you make this decision. Go into spiritual practice. Don't talk about this with too many people, but awaken inspired action. There's only life, what life is asking you to do. And remember the secondary mantra then of I love you, which is really the primary mantra for all of us, to help you establish peace within your own energy field, and yet allow this blessing for a battle to come to you, a battle that cannot be avoided. And I think of President Zelensky now in this situation, wondering what sign he is, but doesn't matter. But may my prayers go out to the Ukrainian people. I have Ukrainian friends. It breaks my heart. Breaks my heart what one person can get away with to damage so many people on planet Earth. So do your part, Aquariums. This is sort of your gig. So if this video helped, hit the thumbs up, help other Aquarians see it. If you want more of me here on YouTube, subscribe and hit the notification bell. As you can see, I take work with me wherever I go, and I put them out when they are ready. This is my sacred art form. And if you want more of me and you want to go deeper and get those morning lunar reports and all of that, come Patreon on patreon.com/join the circle. My honor. I don't know if this was a pleasurable read, but it was an important one. Thank you so much. Do your best. I love you. Very important words. Hail. Farewell. Blessed, blessed be.